Hey guys. So, last day of the year. I guess technically the new year starts in March, but of what everyone else calls the last day of the year. And I had an intense experience with the recent full moon in Cancer, which, of course, 2020 had to end with the full moon and the most emotional sign. So, shocker. One thing I do want to mention, I don't think I've ever really said this on one of my videos, but to fellow empaths, we're known as the sensitives, right? And a lot of times sensitive gets pushed into that category of like emotional, and when you hear the word emotional, you immediately attach that to like crying or grief or sadness or whatever. But that doesn't necessarily equate in all facets of what an empath is. Like, you're sensitive to lights, you're sensitive to sound, you are anger is one of those emotions that comes up a lot. And for me, I've never really been that person who goes into depression about the past. But in my experiences, I have dealt with anger, okay? And anger is actually a higher vibration than, has a higher vibrational frequency than sadness and grief and stuff. If you look at the chart, Abraham Hicks, there's a lot of people that use this chart. I forget what the name of it is, but you can look up like emotional scale, Google it or something like that. And you'll see where each of the emotions falls vibrationally on the scale. And, usually if I'm having a rough day, I'll never vibrate as low as sadness. But anger is like one thing that always comes up for me. One of those reasons is because of my childhood. Like, I saw my mom get physically abused my entire childhood, and she's still working with those cycles, and so I was around as a sensitive and an empath and a child. I was around so much anger. And so when I have a rough day, that's usually what comes up for me. And I already know, like, you have to take that anger and alchemize it, which is probably why I channel in such a passionate way, because it still has a lot of momentum behind it, I guess you could say. But anyway, so I felt a lot of that first thing as I woke up on that day with the full moon. And I immediately knew, I nipped it in the bud, I alchemized it, whatever. But then all these powerful downloads kept coming through. And I was like, what the heck? Also, at that same time, I get shadow banned for the first time on Instagram. And I was like, oh, okay, got my little badge of honor. That means I'm out here speaking truth. Because they don't try to, we already know they're 1984ing us. But like, if something is, they don't try to like block you from something unless it's something that they're trying to hide. But we already know this stuff, okay? And so I was like, how can I use this? How can I use this? Like, what is this? Like, this is a sign. Everything is a freaking sign. Nothing is coincidence. And for me, I really decode everything. I get direct downloads, but at the same time, like, I also get the synchronicity. I also get the intuition to go somewhere, whatever it is. It's not just plain information, right? Everything is very complex, and you just have to know how to be in that flow with the universe. So I got shadow banned. I was like, how can I use this? And immediately it was like, why don't I just not be on it, period? And then like my mind immediately goes to all the excuses why I have not stopped participating in social media yet. So when it comes to Instagram, I'm like, well, I gotta post my videos and help people awaken. But when I really look at it, majority of my Instagram is not necessarily awakened people. It's just people I've known over time. And a lot of them don't even agree with me. So if you think about it, every time they look at a post that they disagree with, they're energetically, because we're all connected, feeling that low vibrational trigger. And that impacts me, okay? So to me, I've done all I can do. Because if it's about to be 2021 tomorrow and you still haven't peeled your eyes open, well, you know what? I've done all I can do for people who aren't awake. So now, if you haven't woke up by now, well then, I don't even know what to tell people like that, okay? It is what it is. They're on their journey, and honestly, I don't even want to be energetically a part of it by them reading my post and throwing shade or whatever it is, or feeling whatever they're feeling inside of themselves. It's not in alignment with who I am. Okay, so I was like, okay, let me keep analyzing this. Almost 99.999% of the people on my YouTube are awake. And they're there because they resonate with me. And so YouTube and my website are the only things that I'm keeping. And my excuse for keeping Facebook for so long was, I have 4 kids. So my family, none of my family lives near me. The closest family I have is 2.5 hours away. So they want to see pictures of the kids and all this stuff. And I always use it as an excuse to keep Facebook. Yet majority of the time I spend on Facebook is just scrolling mindlessly through shit. And it's the same thing. Majority of the people on my Facebook, not awake. So every time they see me post something, I can't help it because I want the truth to be told, you know? So if I feel about something, I'll post it. And then people who don't resonate with that post, right? How are they connecting with that? And in all honesty, like, how much more can we put out there? I feel like we've reached who we can reach. So I was like, okay, I'll keep my account active. I'll delete the app, but I'll keep the Messenger app and let all my family know if they want updates on the kids or whatever, they can just reach me via Messenger and I will send them pictures or videos or whatever, updates. And I was like, see, like, there's like, the ego tries to make excuses as to why it wants to stay attached to things that don't serve us. Think about all the hours we spend on social media just mindlessly scrolling. What could we be doing instead of that? What could we be using that time for? That's going to fulfill us, right? So I was sitting there and I had my pen and paper out and I was like, I'm just going to make a list of all the things I could do that are more productive and more fulfilling and raise my vibration and keep the vibe high, which is what we're here to do anyways, is keep the vibe high instead of being on the social media. And so I got my pen out and I was writing and I just freaking, like, there's so many things. And I was like, and I know that we're really close to being able to buy land. And when we do, like, I literally want to build our house with our bare hands. Me and Lance, like, we're building a house, okay? I watch videos on YouTube all the time about, like, different ways you can put a foundation in. Like, I'm not playing around, okay? So I was like, okay, I don't have the land yet, but I can still start making the plans. I can look at different ways that you can lay foundation. I can look at different ways that we can use, what different materials that we could use, and how to go about doing that, and what would be the easiest way for us. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on, like, of all the things I could do that are more productive than wasting my time on social media. So for me, going into 2021, I am taking nothing with me that is low vibe. And social media, I think, is the biggest thing. I think it's the biggest thing for me. It's distracting on all levels. And I wanted to share that with you guys. And I'm not saying that to say you have to give up social media, because this is my journey. And I'm just sharing my experience with you. If you resonate with that, awesome. If not, awesome. It doesn't matter. It's not about everybody trying to fit into the same box. But what it is about is recognizing where you have attachments that don't serve you and being able to detach. Because at the end of the day, a true master can detach from anything. And the more things that you have that you're attached to, the more that weighs you down and doesn't allow you to flow with the universe. And so I'm looking in other areas. I'm like, okay, where can I detach here? And I was just sitting there. I was like, all right, I'm going to go back through everything, go make a huge pile of stuff in my house to donate. Everything weighs you down. The more material possessions you have weighs you down. That's why there's this big movement on, what's it called? Minimalism. Like, literally, there's a huge movement. Like, if you go on YouTube, there's a huge movement towards living off grid. Why? Because Obviously it's the Great Awakening. People are raising their vibrations. They're realizing all of these things. Maybe they don't know the spiritual aspect of it. Maybe they do. But in a roundabout sense, their intuition is guiding them to what resonates with them the most, which is connecting with nature, doing things that raise your vibration, getting away from anything that holds you back. And that includes people. What are you attached to? Relationships, jobs, people, material things, social media. Like, really dig deep, you know. I made a little list. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so at the end of the day, when we're attached to things and we're just mindlessly scrolling through like social media or something, all we're doing is avoiding being present. Because the thing about being in the present moment is that a lot of people who haven't faced their shadow or are afraid to face their shadow, if they're just present and just being with themselves, like, oh my God, I gotta go to the movies. Oh my God, I gotta go to the store. What are we gonna do today? Blah, blah, blah. They can't just sit and be with themselves because they're literally afraid to face the fact that they feel like worthless inside, and that is why they reach externally for everything to fulfill them, not realizing that the real fulfillment is being in the moment, being able to have just the clothes on your back and saying I am, and being able to choose happiness, being able to say that I'm enough. And so really, that is the simple message that I wanted to bring to you guys coming into the new year. It's just like, what are you attached to? What can you let go of? How can you simplify your life? The more simple your life is, the happier people are. And this is like not just me pulling that out of my ass. We all know that innately. Like, people have been preaching that since the beginning of time. And still everyone's just like, I want to make money, I want to be wealthy, I want to do this, I want to do that, and they're still reaching externally. Like, this is even people in the spiritual community still reaching externally. Literally, you don't have to charge for anything, any information you put out there to be abundant and for the universe to take care of you. I literally did I have not done that many individual sessions with people, and I completely cut it off because it just doesn't resonate with me. And it's not because I don't want to help people. It really literally feels weird taking money from people. And I know people are going to say, oh, that's an abundance blocking you, but it's not, because I receive abundance in many other ways. And everybody wants to define abundance as monetarily, but as long as I have what I need, I am abundant. And abundance really is how you feel exploding from your heart chakra. And you'll know that if you've ever experienced it, but most people have never experienced that, so they're still reaching for external things to fulfill them because they've never really felt that internal fulfillment. I was on something, but I already lost it. But the point of the matter is that it's not things. It's not things. The more things you have, more money, more problems. It's just is what it is. And people have to wake up to this. And if they don't, going into 2021 and beyond, because the vibrational frequency of the earth is so high, it's going to ask you to match that. And in order to match that, you have to let go of things that don't serve you, that are weighing you down and keeping your vibration from raising. And so the reason people are feeling a lot of things come up right now is for that very reason. We just had that huge event, what was it, on the 21st? And that really, to me, was the marking point of that, the turning point. It was like, you need to choose. You need to decide, like, what road am I going to go on? Am I going to let go of things that don't serve me and move into this space of 5D, a 5D timeline? Or I'm going to just weigh myself down with things externally that I think that I need to feel fulfilled. A newer house, a better job, a different relationship. None of those things are going to fulfill you. And as soon as you fulfill yourself, all those things that you do desire will come to fruition. But you have to understand what you actually desire, because what your ego thinks you desire and what you think you desire and what you actually desire, your higher self, your inner being desires, are two different things. And most people don't know what they truly want because they've never connected to who they truly are. So happy New Year's, guys. And yeah, make a list. See what you can detach from. I love you.